Welcome back to another episode of Visually Impaired Adventures with Tim. Today I'll be covering my Canon, which is one of my cameras I have. Just turn up the lights here so it's a bit easier to see. There we go. So this is the Canon camera I have. It's the EOS M50 Mark II. So this is a nice compact, it's a mirrorless camera. Which means that there isn't a mirror in front of the sensor. I find it quite fairly easy for me to navigate around. It's got a little rain, I think they call it a finder or something like that. I'm not too sure. It's got a pop-up flash, which is pretty good. Or I could mount something in the hot shoe up the top, which is an attachment for another external flash or a microphone. I've got a microphone input port in here, so I've got a 3.5mm audio jack in the side of the camera that I can put audio in through, and then out the other side I've got two connectors that I can get video out from, which is pretty good. It's got a little screen that folds out, which is pretty good. If I turn that on, it's pretty easy for me to see most of that. It gives little tips and stuff. So this screen folds all the way back and around, or I can fold it all the way down so from the bottom of the camera I can read the screen, which is pretty neat. So I can read this screen from just about any angle from the camera, which is awesome. It's got the little regular mount for the camera, so it's got that screw mount for a tripod. The battery door's in the bottom, which is just a swipe to access. There's a little grey tab that sticks out to remove the battery. This one runs on an ep4, which is one of the Canon batteries. In the bottom here we've also got the SD card. This is actually an adapter running a 128GB micro SD card. Just pull that out. There we are. So I run micro SD cards in all my cameras. This one runs an adapter so that I can just quickly change over the card in the camera, between the camera, the drone, or the GoPro. It's got a large dial here which changes all the settings on the top, and then forward of that we've got the shutter button in the center of another dial. So this dial helps with different things. There's a multi-function button to help adjust the settings. There's a record button that's not as easy to find, but it's just off to the right of the shutter button when you're holding it the right way. As you saw before, there's the on-off switch up the top, which is nice and tactile for myself to switch on and off. I can just swipe that with the thumb. I've got two different lenses for it. So I've got the kit lens, which is a 15 to 45mm lens. So to activate it, I'll just put it back down. There's a little tab that I switch up, spin around. You can hear it clicked in place, so that's now ready to go from 15 all the way out to 45 and back again as necessary. Packed away, you can see that the all the stuff's there. So flick it up, twist it, that's now at the 15, and then as it all the way zooms in, it brings the lens closer to the piece that lets the light in. I don't know too much about the cameras in the right terms. But yeah, I've got the kit lens. Obviously I keep all the protectors on it. That's what the back of the lens looks like. And then the second lens I have for it, I purchased separately from the camera, is a 55 to 200mm lens. So this one doesn't space save. This one just goes out and back again. Looks very similar in the front as we zoom it in and out. I'll just find the right way to zoom that. But it obviously zooms a different way. I find this is really good for slightly further away items. Interestingly enough, the focus length on this camera, this lens, so this is the back of it, the focus length on this lens is anywhere about 1.5 meters plus. So I can get really focused in. I can take detailed photos of leaves and other things. There's a little dot here that's, oh, I didn't realise that was indented, which is pretty good. Unfortunately it's not really indented, but it lines up with the switch part of the kit lens. So you line those 2 dots up, put it in, twist it clockwise if you're looking from the front of the camera, and that's how you put on the lens. Pretty simple. And then from there you can just flick it out and adjust around. To remove it, you've got this large button here that we press in, twist it back, and that removes the lens. So that's pretty straightforward. There it is. That's on now. Very similar, pretty much the same thing. There's a white dot for the larger lens. However, there isn't a tactile piece for me on there yet. I might add one later. And that just lines up with the indent of the white, switches up near the top of the camera, and you can hear that clicked in place. So now I've got my larger lens on. Fairly simple for me to operate. And the image is big enough for me to see roughly what I'm shooting. If I put the kit lens back on, it might have a short enough focal length to just get something here. So the covers are pretty easy. They're just pinched to release. I'll fold out that screen so you guys can see hopefully something. Flick it out, and there we are. So this image is big enough for me to see most of the time. Obviously we can zoom in for different bits and pieces. There's different selections I can do on this. As I was saying before, this switch next to the on and off changes modes. So this changes the all the different settings in most of them. Then you can go to manual, movie recording, creative filters, so I can make this look like looks like it's not a photo. It might be a painting or a fisheye lens effect. Special scene, I've not used that one yet. Hybrid auto, I haven't used that one either yet. Most of the time I use it in automatic mode or manual mode to try different effects, and then recording mode for the rest of it. That way I can record the different bits and pieces that I do. So it's a pretty basic operation I do most of the time with this one. But it was the when I was looking at it, it met all the requirements, including being affordable for myself, which was good. The battery charger is just over here. Battery charger is pretty simple. So if I take that battery out again, this battery will only go in one way. So if I try and put that in upside down, it's not going to go in. Flip it up the right way, and it goes in very easy. I can very minimal force to put that in with the pinky. There's a full light and a charge light so that you can know when it's full or when it's charging. The full light is green and it's closest to the battery, and the charge light is orange, slightly further away from the battery. I live in Australia, so I've got an Australian plug on there. But it's fairly easy for myself to use, which is what I want. I don't want something too complicated, otherwise I'm less likely to use it, and it makes it harder for myself. And that's not what we're about. So yeah, that's my Canon camera for you guys. See you in the next one.